Greetings and welcome to this quick tutorial. Today I'm gonna show you how to create this used gum look that you can put onto your logo. Now, why would you want to do that? I really don't know, but that can be something that's kind of cool. So I'm just gonna show you how to do it. So let's open up After Effects, and first of all I'm gonna create a solid for on which I'm gonna apply TAO to. So yeah, creating a solid is what I will do as the first step of this, and then I will look at this file, which is a vector file of my logo. I'm gonna use my logo for this example, so I'm gonna import it by dragging it in here and click OK, merge layer, whatever. I already had it there, so I'm just gonna bring it here, and it's dark so we don't see it. So I just want the shape. Here's one thing that you can do. You can select your vector Illustrator vector file, and then you can now where is that option again? Create shapes from vector layer, and that will make a shape. And now we lose the text because it was a text layer. And that's not what we want, because we want a mask shape. So now there's one way to do that, and you can download this little script on Redefinery, and it's an old script. It's called the mask shape to mask. So that basically just I got plenty of those in here. Shape to mask, and that's gonna use our that's gonna create a solid with our mask shape there, and we might have to stack them to get what we want exactly, and then it might not be centered as we want it to, so let's just bring this right in the middle. And now that I think of it, there is other ways that you can also get that without the script. If you for example I'm gonna double click on it and open it up in Illustrator, and there I can take the white arrow, select my logo, and then hit Command C, Control C to copy it, and then I'm gonna create a new solid in here. I call that logo, and if I hit Command V, it's gonna paste it. So no need for the script. That's an even better way to do it. Don't even need to import anything. So yeah, that's now that we have our logo there and our TAO. Let's see. Let's pick up our now. Let's pick up our mask shape, and we want that shapes to be on our TAO solid. So let's paste that here, and let's delete that. We don't need it anymore. So we're gonna see something. By default, we want to turn off the path generator to see only path that's generated from our mask, and that's simply generated from our masks here. So that's one option. Can maybe reduce our segment size, and there we have some kind of shape based on our logo, and depending on the shape of your logo, there might be some tweaking that you will want to do. So let's color these so we can see what is what. So this is that, this is that, this is that. So this one and this one, maybe I can delete them for the moment, and we're just gonna work on these three basic shapes. So that's the first step, and I'm gonna now mask is one way to do it, and there is quickly another way that would allow us more control that we can go ahead and do already as the next step is to instead of use the mask to create it, is we're gonna use a light. So let's create a new light Command Alt Shift L, and let's use a spotlight. And this is important, you have to name it TAO, so it's recognized as a TAO light that will generate some geometry. And what we'll simply do is hit P to get our position in here, and I'm gonna copy the mask path here that I've got, and I'm gonna simply paste it here. And as we do that, we can perhaps turn off the mask from path here, not to get confused. And that's not exactly what I want, perhaps. So let's get in here and turn that off, because we don't want the light to be oriented. We want TAO to orient it. So let's duplicate our light. Let's copy our second path here, and let's click here to remove the keyframes and paste. And the last shape here, let's create another one, delete the keyframes and paste. So we've got a basic shape that looks like our logo. So let's get back on our TAO layer, and let's select repeat spheres, and let's increase the amount of segments. So now we have some nice geometry on there. And now next thing we'll do is, before we go any further, is hit twice on A to get our light options. And we're gonna do this on the first light. We're gonna, at each keyframe, we're gonna put a different color, so it's gonna pick up different color. For gums, we might want to use some reference. So here I have a nice, really fantastic, cool looking dirty gum wall that we can pick up colors from. So let's pick up this blue here. Let's get on the next frame. Let's pick up this color here, that yellow there. Let's get some nice greens. And I don't know why it's doing that. It's kind of bothering me, but I'll just let it be for the moment. And of course, there are several gums that are white. I think it's quite popular gum color. Let's get this kind of green here. I have not seen many gums that are that kind of green, though. I will have to tell. And I like purple gum. I don't see any in there, but we might want to add some of those nice grapes. And of course, gums might not be that saturated, but they look like kind of rubber, plasticky, kind of doughy, sticky thing. So let's try to pick up some nice pineapple gum color, banana, I don't know, some nice oh, that's the blue mint, that's the winter mint. We got so many different gum types now. Why can't I get it? This is bothering me. Alright, what didn't I get? This blue here. And that's enough. So this is only coloring this part here, but here's a quick way that what we're gonna do to repeat it everywhere. Let's alt click on our stopwatch, and let's get here, property, loop out type cycle. And what that's gonna do is as it's gonna get to our last keyframe, it's gonna repeat our gum colors as it gets to the next segment. So it's gonna alternate, and we're gonna have a nice rainbow colored theme gum thing. So let's copy that these keyframes, and let's paste them on both our lights here. So I'm gonna paste that, and automatically we have some nice colors here. So that might be something other that you can I've seen these kind of necklace, candy necklace. Sweet. So we want gums. So let's add more sides to this. And now we have nice beats. And let's get in the randomness, because now we can use the random scale in here to get the different size gum. And gums are more like when you have done chewing them, they are more frequently than not. They are like kind of flattened, and now they are all rotated in the same direction. That's not good. We want to have more rotation randomness as well in those gums. So let's do that. Not maybe random scale. We don't mind any randomness. So more rotation. And are they too flat? Are they too flat? I don't know. So they are not chewed yet. These are other. This is another state that the gum can be in before it's chewed. But we want to make them look like they are used, so we're going to use a fractal displacement. Now that is not what we want. It's by default it's set to world. We're going to set that to segments, and ooh, it's kind of funky. And we're going to reduce the amount of that, and we're going to increase the frequency very much. And some are really bigger than others. I'm not really happy with that, so we might lose a little bit of randomness on the scale. And or maybe, yeah, we need a little less of that. Kind of a little tiny number in here, while here it's quite increased. So now we have some kind of blobbiness going on. That's our kind of look we want. We can add more gums by increasing the amount of segments here. So depending on what we're aiming for, we can of course globally reduce the size, like and add more randomness in the scale or in the rotation. And we can also try to increase some randomness here by changing the oct scale and multi settings. So that kind of looks like gums. Now, from this point, you can tweak it for hours until you get what you want, but we're gonna kind of keep it as is. We can also add a little bit of randomness in the position, not too much, just to make it look more anarchically. Can you say that? Anarchically disposed, but still pretty orderly, and in a pretty orderly fashion, because it's kind of respecting the shape of our logo, or for that matter anything that we would put there, some kind of text or any vector shape that you want to do. But as you also know, vector shapes, logos and stuff, we might not always be that easy to make. And perhaps we want this part of the X here filled in, and we don't have that kind of data. So how can we do that rapidly? Let's create a new light. Let's call it TAO, and still a spotlight, and it's gonna make us a nice floating gum here. Now I'm gonna create a new null, and I'm gonna hit F4, make it 3D, and I'm gonna get the position data to get it here to make it right at the center. And I'm simply gonna keyframe it right here, and Command Shift H to reveal the layer controls. I'm gonna simply, like, very quickly keyframe it right here. Oops, not the right thing. it in here. Oh, not come here. That's a nice little stray of gum we're pulling off here. And now perhaps we don't want any like this streak here. Perhaps that's what we want. But perhaps we want like this segments to be less segments, so we can perhaps write down here. Let's try 80 gums is enough perhaps in there, and I'm gonna refresh. So maybe less. 40 gums. Yeah, that's more about it. 40 gums, and I'm gonna duplicate that, and I'm gonna make the other part of the X here, and I'm really bad at this. Come here, little light. I don't want you null. I want this. Nah. Alright. And you go there. Really not more complicated than that. And since these lights are all in the same TAO system, they will generate shadows on each other. And if we want them specifically to be bigger, now that we have to check this option first, but here if we come to paths from TAO lights, let's get our size from radius, and these perhaps we want them bigger, so let's increase the radius of those so we can fill up this space that's the gaps that we've got here. So, and now those gums, they have not been colored since we didn't get our keyframes here, but it's at the same time perhaps like the person who displayed the gums here to make your logo, perhaps this street punk or something, he was like artistic, and perhaps like he was only using strawberry gums, or maybe just mints in the middle. So you have always the possibility to create nice color patterns on your lights. But let's bring that over here, simply paste it. So we get our colored gums, and now I have on my logo this outer rim. It's really thin, and I want to recreate it. And I also want this outermost ring to be more, how would you say it, more gummy. I want more gums in it. So I'm going to increase the global amount of segments here. Let's try to put 200 here, and let's then we're going to order them to be at 100 those. So let's copy that. These light commands are somewhat esoteric, but it's kind of really useful when you know how to use them. So this, which one is this one? The outer rim that's the X, that's this part, and that's this part. So this part, let's put 150 segments. So you can increase the amount of segments, but that number can never be higher than the number that you put in here. So if this is kind of our max number, and this will be like, so that's why we want to specify these at 100 if we don't want them to be 200, and keeping numbers small as small as possible when you can. Just keeps the render time more acceptable, so always good to keep that in mind. And now I realize that I also want to fill this gap in here, and how can I do that really rapidly without fuss? I'm gonna create a new solid, a command Y, and on that solid I'm gonna turn it off and simply take the ellipse tool, and from the center here I'm gonna hit Command Shift Alt, and I'm gonna try to go aim at my gap here, and this, see how easy it is. I'm gonna copy the path from that, and I'm gonna create a new light. I'm gonna call it TAO, and I'm gonna say I want 180 segments on here, and I'm gonna choose the position and hit paste. So now I have another layer of gums filling up the gap, and these gums I'm also gonna get my colors in there. So that's pretty cool. And also I'm gonna get my mask from here, and now that I created already, I'm gonna hit V and I'm gonna double click on it, and I'm gonna stretch it up on the outside here, just around here, and then I'm gonna recopy the path. I'm gonna turn it off, and let's create a new light. TAO. Oh, this is starting happening when you create too many lights. So I'm gonna paste the path and there, and that rim I want smaller gums, like people who have dropped those gums, then when they were done with them, like they say, oh, this the smaller gums will go on the outer rim, because that's how things goes, you know. So here we got smaller gums, really smaller gums, smaller gum pieces maybe, and there's too much randomness in there. Some of them are still too big for my taste. So then again, it's another thing that you can mess around to. It's really as small as I can get. Even if I get to 1, then I'm gonna how's that possible? Can I make it smaller here? Oh, it's not affecting my outer gums. Let's see. Let's for the moment turn off the fractal. Oh, the fractal is really pushing out things. So this is our so that's our outer rim, and let's get our fractal back on. And that's really making it really big. So we want less of the fractal on the gum. So we're gonna check that option here, and that's gonna allow us to use the fall of distance to specify how much of the fractal we want these gums to be affected with. And does that work? Maybe not. I don't know. So you see the principle. We're just gonna maybe lose this for the moment. I don't know. I don't think it's turning out that good on this particular example. Let's put more segments here, and all of those are gonna stay the same since we've got but this one we've got 300, and yeah, we still want some fractal to be going on here. What can we do? What can we do? Nevertheless, just gonna copy our colors for the moment in here, and now we're gonna use basic lighting, not really in depth, but just to get this kind of feel for the reflection. And before we do that, perhaps might be a good thing to check on our ambient occlusion. So our gums are really small, so our contact shadows, we want them to be really small. Perhaps the radius that is there by default is too small for this case in particular. So we're gonna reduce it, and we're gonna reduce the intensity as well. So now we have kind of a smaller and more precise kind of a shadow there, and see without and with. So depending on what you're aiming for, we can maybe. All right, and also we want to get some little bit of reflection on there, not too much, but we're going to use, in this case, we don't want to see it in its background necessarily, and these colors, I want them, I don't know why, but I want them to be the other way around, so I'm going to do that to add just a little bit more randomness. And let's get on our, where was I? So yeah, let's not lose track here. So we're gonna use a built-in environment, and I figure that we're gonna use the graffiti runes. So right off the bat, that's not exactly what we're looking for. Maybe that is. I don't know. That maybe you're kind of creating some stony I don't know. It's not what we're looking for. So we're gonna crank down the reflection, and we're gonna turn up the diffuse strength. But maybe perhaps what we want to do is Command Alt Shift L, and we're gonna create an ambient light, and we're just gonna make it so it's a bright blue color, and that will happen, but no worries. Page up, page down, and now we've brightened it up. We've brightened it. Blah. It's brighter now, so we're gonna reduce the ambient by a third, and perhaps increase the Fresnel. And now it's all about the tweaks. Really, sometimes I increase the diffuse holdout, sometimes I don't. Maybe we can put a little bit of the ambient back in, and have perhaps also we can, this is our ambient light, make 1 point light just to try to make some specular highlights. So let's grab this light, and now, is that a point? Yeah. Let's bring it towards the left, and let's push it backwards a little bit. So we have some, it's kind of a little backlight on the side here, and so that's basically how I would create the gum look on a logo, and it can be adapted to any kind of shapes, and now this can be used as a still image, and perhaps it's a little bit too saturated. It's too much of a vividity in the colors. I'm gonna make it a little bit of an S-curve here. Make it even more vivid, and then we're gonna tone it down using the tint effect simply. So does it look any kind of, it kind of looks the same. These are not the same gums, but it's that you see the basic idea. It's fun, and then you can animate lots of things in there using the offset. It's not going to be a tutorial about that. I'm right about done right now with this. I think now it's up to you to experiment with it and see what you can do. One thing that I can easily set you off on is just with the evolution. Maybe if I create a keyframe here, get to frame 100, and crank that up, it's gonna warp our gums around, and you can have that loop I'm not gonna be able to it's kind of complex scene now for my computer to RAM preview that, but as you would expect, you can make it loop with the where was I now? The nice seamless loop feature that we have access to here. So by simply setting our keyframe here, and this might have to be a much higher number depending on the frequency or depending on the amount of segments that we have here. And if we click here, it's gonna punch in the right number for us, and it's gonna make it loop between this frame and this frame. So if we go verify here, and I'm also some kind of tiny bit confused about something in here, because sometimes the second frame is really like a drastic difference between the next one, and now it seems that it's going to be a really fast animation. In this case, you can have more time happen between them, and like those outside won't be affected because as much, because we have obviously we have toned it down using the fractal amplification that's connected to the fall of distance property here. But that's kind of my little quick way to, I don't know why you would want to do that, but set up your logo or some text or some things with this cool little gum look. So thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.